This podcast features adults using adult language. You have been warned.
27.
16.
I love to.
Wow, 27.
I love to
Good perception.
I love to
You do.
perceive.
I'm not from
20.
You're very Legolas, walking on snow, hearing everything.
Listen,
What do your Aelophiles see?
Elves are our hillbilly cousins.
So,
I'm sorry, I forgot
all
that.
right.
You're
So it sounds like Aelofel got the big number.
Yeah.
All right. As you are leaving the 5-league house, you're maybe a few hundred yards away. You sort of turn back and you can see Barton waves at you with his big hand. But you also see that there seems to be someone perched on the roof of 5-league house back there. A small, almost spindly man. And he is basically just clinging literally to the top of a gable.
What?
Weird. Very
Jim
weird.
nudges Aelofel and is like, "Stop the car!"
I'm gonna stop the horses.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's strange.
Why
and
have we
should
stopped?
not leave.
Exactly.
this
No,
kind,
and
gentle
it's like
man.
as we're riding away. Omen is actually sitting on the back of the cart,
Jim.
watching the back. I just jump off.
When you look back again, it's gone.
Jim shouts back, "There was a guy on your roof.
He's gone now, though. Okay.
He left. Do you know that guy that was on your roof?
Guy!
On your roof?
Roof!
Yeah.
He looks up toward his roof.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone now.
He waves.
Okay.
Yeah.
He puts his hands on his hips.
No, it's cool.
Yeah. Okay. No.
Wait, there was something on the roof. I saw it,
Yeah. There was a guy.
and then it was gone.
He waves.
Jim turns back. I think he knows him.
Yeah. I think they're friends. Maybe he lives there.
Sometimes, houses have guys on them. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. They just cling there, and that's
Did I see anything identifying on it? It was just
It looked like a man, but like a sort of almost like a childlike figure. And it was clothed in warm clothing.
You didn't see anything.
with
It's a
long
trick of the
talons.
snow.
All right. No.
A cloak of some sort.
Yeah. I jump back up on the back of the
Okay.
wagon and hit it a couple times
Okay. You see Barton has sort of moved back inside the building.
to hang out with his weird spindly friend. I
Get
assume.
his throat slit. He goes, "Oh, roof guy."
Yeah. Okay.
And,
I say a silent prayer to Melora to watch
Excellent.
over him as the distance betwixt us grows larger.
And Jim starts in with 99 bottles of ale.
The Bourbon Ale.
Bourbon ale on the wall.
It's going to be a long journey. I'll turn this cart around.
The Dawnforge Mountains begin to loom above you as you pass through the foothills and up into the sort of craggy, more craggy areas of the
The
hills.
crags.
Exactly.
Shall we say?
You see Hammerfast ahead. It is perched on a ledge, sort of clinging at the mouth of a pass. It's sort of like the guard sentinel of this winding road through the mountains that you've heard about. Also important trade route. The stronghold itself is fairly low set. You see a bunch of stone buildings kind of rising up, sort of heaped upon one another atop this plateau. The road goes right up to a gate. What you know of Hammerfast, like I said, it used to be a necropolis, and some evidence of that remains in the structure and
The
design.
mausoleum type things,
Yes,
looming faces.
But built among them, you see more modern, blocky stone dwarven architecture.
Really strange.
When you get to the gate, there are some fur-laden dwarves. You see they've got kind of metal masks hidden under their parkas, and you see their metal gauntlets clutching thick-handled halberds, and they come up to you as your wagon stops before them. One of them holds up a gloved hand. The gates are open. It doesn't look like, but they seem very interested in it.
Yeah, they don't see any dwarves on this cart, and so they're wondering exactly what is going on.
Yeah. And one of them says in Dwarven, "Ho!"
You want to manage this since you're on the front of the cart?
Yeah. I'm not so much with the charisma, so.
But you're so much with the gravelly voice.
Just be ready.
Yeah.
And you see him sneeze.
Okay, at least a cup of cold mucus.
Gross.
We are simple merchants come from the 5 League Inn. We have empty casks that must be refilled. We seek the dwarven ale.
How many of you are there?
Just the two of us.
No, I'm sitting on the back, like literally. And also this other guy.
Yeah, and him. Just the two of us plus one.
Just 3.
Just the two of us.
We can make it if we try.
God dang. I'm staying very quiet.
He sort of stands in front of the horses, and the other dwarf kind of comes around the back of the wagon and sort of looks in, taps on one of the barrels with his weapon. Tum, tum, tum.
Yeah.
Sounds hollow.
Yeah. Has a pleasing sound.
Yeah. Taps on another one. Tum, tum, tum. Taps on the third. Tum, tum, tum. And then, enough for him. You may go through now.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows what you just
And
had?
he just waves you through.
Yeah.
All right, you enter the town. You see the dwarves are milling around, really undeterred by the cold, snappy weather here. The wind whipping through. It sort of howls through around the corners of the various buildings. One of the alarming things that you notice is that...
Is an alarm?
Not an alarm.
Oh.
But among the dwarves walking through town, you see the occasional spectral apparition that just sort of glides.
What?
Are these like dwarven apparitions?
In fact, the one or two that you see, like within a minute of entering this place, do seem to be dwarves. And then you come to a square where there are actually 2 living dwarves, apparently conversing with what appears to be a dwarven ghost.
Could I make either a religion or an arcana check to see what I know about these spirits?
Sure.
If I recognize them?
A religion check would be great.
That's hot.
28.
It dawns on you something that you were told by some dwarven fans of yours back in Fallcrest, that one of the odd things about Hammerfast was, in order to build the settlement here, the dwarven clan lords had to come to an agreement with the indigenous population, most of whom were dead. And sort of a compact was reached whereby the living and the dead, would agree to basically live in harmony here. And a lot of the dwarven ghosts that persist here exist because they have either tasks unfinished or they're cursed, and some of them are content with that, and others try to use the living to help them end these curses.
Wow.
That's great.
I relate all that to you.
Yeah. It's sort of like it's like they work a minimum wage job or something.
You know what's funny is, coming from you, it's probably true, but coming from you, I'm like, because you're like, oh yeah, the ghosts, they're always they lived here.
It's like ebony and ivory.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, you were told by Barton that a certain Marcinda Goldspin
the merchants
hired these dwarven desperados. You can make a streetwise check to ascertain where she might be.
I'm not making a streetwise.
Well, I only made 14.
20.
I'm not very sure.
Actually, 21.
Okay. It doesn't take you much to pull up alongside some dwarves and ask for, when you ask about Marcinda Goldspinner, they can point you to her right away. She is one of the key figures in town. You know that this thriving community basically is ruled by a council of leaders. Each leader is responsible for a guild, and Marcinda, the Merchants Guild.
So she's plugged deeply into the ebb and flow of this city.
So they point you to her Clanhold Manor.
Awesome.
Yeah, we roll it up.
Yeah, let's roll it up there.
All right. Okay.
You should expose yourself. Now is the time for you.
Now it's for me to come out.
Pop out of the house. I pop out of the door. I was like, hey!
You see this dominant domed stone structure with gold glyphic inlays in the pillars and balustrades, and you park your wagon out in front of the portico, and a white-haired dwarf who looks like he might have seen you through a slit in the door cracks open the door and waves at you.
Yeah. I pull the scarf down and pull it back over my head.
All right. You can see that in addition to his sort of wispy, long white hair, that he has a large cataract in one of his eyes, and you can see that he's missing one of his arms.
Wow.
That's a catamaran. That's a different thing.
And he says, "Hello, come in, out of the cold."
Yeah. There's a lot about this guy I don't like. He's got a boat in his eye. There's a lot of strange shit going on.
He leads you to the lady of the house, and you can see that...
That's not Goldspinner, I assume. I assume we have to navigate a treacherous weave of bureaucrats first, right?
Indeed, no.
Oh.
They're very efficient, apparently.
Yeah.
Yes. And you can see that her manor doesn't have a lot of traffic through it. You can see that there's a young dwarven woman who is apparently reading to some dwarven children off in a side room, but you're led past her into a sort of a plush, opulently furnished chamber with a large stone hearth, and there is a dwarf sitting on a stool by a window, and she looks like she's a sort of an auburn-haired
beauty,
rather attractive, and she's got gems woven through her hair. She's very shapely, but she's painting.
Does that do it for you, Jim?
She seems to be painting what looks like an elven glade.
Oh,
a nature scene.
That's very nice.
In the dead of winter.
Yes, it's beautifully sunlit and obviously a summer sun-dappled scene.
Yeah. I knocked twice on the door so that I don't want to come in. Hey, what's up? I want to make sure that would scare me if I was painting.
You have guests, my lady. Thank you, Okar. You may leave.
Get your boat eye.
And he slinks off, and she turns to you, and you see she's this rosy-cheeked, voluptuous dwarven woman.
Jim sidles up to her. You're very good at what you do.
Are you referring to my painting?
Gesture to the easel. That's an opportunity.
You're also a good painter, yeah.
Elifel, I'd like you to make a perception check.
25.
You get the sense that she is almost feigning an elven kind of accent or dialect. It doesn't sound like it's her natural voice. It's like it's an affectation.
This is exactly like
Madonna's British accent.
Well, she does have a room full of children.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to look as surreptitiously as I can at this painting.
Yes.
And see if I recognize anything out of it.
It says you are all going to die on this thing.
But it's like in flowers.
Yeah.
You get the immediate impression that it is a real place, like some place you may have seen in your youth, and some place undoubtedly she has seen and she's trying to paint from memory.
I would like to say to her in Elven, that's a very beautiful glade.
She kind of looks at you and
that's awesome.
In sort of fumbled Elven, she says, "Thank much."
With a little bow.
Well, she's a dwarf, though, right?
Yes,
Thank you times. All right. I've got some Elven too, so I can pick up that she basically dropped the Elven ball.
She has some trouble.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm going to step forward and try to get the reins of the conversation.
Okay.
I say we're here from the on behalf of Barton from the 5 League House, and he's told us some very strange stories, and we thought we should come to you before we investigated them any further. Strange stories about goings-on the road.
She sighs.
That's a long pause. Should I read anything into that?
She says, "You work for Barton?
I work for myself, but I'm associated with Barton.
You should be careful about who you associate with."
Well, we know he has kind of a weird guy that is up on his roof. Is that who you're talking about?
Why do you say
Because that freaked us out, too.
You can see that she kind of looks a little nervously at you, like she's trying to read you. And she says, "He sent you here because of the dwarves, the Amber Shard dwarves."
Amber Shard.
What? Did you just say?
Did you say that you have Elven?
Yeah.
Amber Shard?
Yeah, and she won't get it, probably.
Elven and she won't get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did he just say Amber Shard?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Binwin does not like the name Amber Shard. I spit my drink out at the sound of the name and start cursing.
What?
What do you know of the Amber Shard dwarves?
They're horrid. We can't control them.
The Amber Shards are here in Hammer Time.
in Glimmerdome?
She says, "I have warned all of my merchants to be wary of dealings with them. They have a manor here. They operate out of it."
Citrine Amber Shard
You know her, yes.
blackmailed Thane Zanbold to give over control of a mine that the Bronzebottoms owned, and it ruined us. That's why I had to come out here and join you guys. Because we were broke.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Because of the amber shards. Well, don't get me wrong.
Whoa, really?
Yes.
This is really? Dude!
The amber shards ruined my family.
She says, Citrine Amber Shard maintains a household here.
Let's go talk to this chick.
And they're
I'm going to
responsible.
talk to you in Elvish for a minute.
Yeah. We're gonna talk some elfin shit, okay? Yeah.
Michael, you go to the bathroom. I'm going to talk in Elvish for a minute. She was really perturbed by us associating with Barton. She's very upset about these Ambershard dwarves.
Right?
We should just cautiously proceed that we're not getting played against the middle.
I always assume I'm being played against the middle and by a third party whose designation I am not yet familiar with.
But if she thinks that it's bad news that we're associated with Barton, we may be able to use that to our advantage as we.
I would like to roll
go
an
after
insight check
Ambershard
to see if
dwarves.
she's being honest with her
Look, you
intent.
guys nodding.
But he doesn't know elfin.
He doesn't speak Elven.
Oh God, I'm too angry. I'm too angry. to insert any
You throw the
insight.
stein at the wall.
Yeah, I'm pacing.
I say so.
She seems to be a little seething herself, that much you can tell.
I say so. Madam
My
Gold-
father stopped drinking because of this.
That's how.
Daddy drunk. We don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah. Chris, I hold a hand to steady him on his shoulder.
Chambered and ready to go.
I just made that up.
That's the perfect one.
She says,
What? My father stopped drinking.
Bronzebottom, I'm so sorry. The shame.
I'm just walking and my hammer's just hitting the ground as I walk. I'm just pacing.
No, you should walk around and start dragging it like Charlie Brown.
He puts an arm around you.
Here, so exactly. So I steady friend Bronzebottom. And I say, Madam Goldspinner. So are we to understand that these violent dwarves that are terrorizing the roads are none of your doing?
No.
All right, I want to verify. I want to verify that using a skill.
Okay.
See if her lying is as bad as her elven.
Ooh, nice.
It's a good roll.
That's a 20. No, that's
It was
a
a
20.
good roll and it was a good line.
Yeah.
It's a 23.
You get the sense that she has a genuine, utter distaste for the Amber Shards and everything that they stand for, and that, and when she goes on to elaborate, that she basically serves as the matron to a
consortium.
a consortium,
Yeah.
exactly. That she has vehemently tried to deter several of her merchants from dealing with the Amber Shards, but somehow the Amber Shards always seem to winnow their way into others' business dealings. And
Yeah, it sounds like they have a history of that.
unfortunately, no one will stand against them.
That ends today.
That ends today.
She says, I will support you any way I can. Still continuing with her
Yeah.
affectation.
I look out the window out at the necropolis
Okay.
and say, make sure they got a nice place to bury us. And I turn around and walk out the door.
She says, stop.
No, I just did the cool line. You have
Owen leaves. The three of you are standing
Yeah,
there.
Jim and everyone else.
I wonder how many times that happens where it's like, blah, blah, blah. That's it. All right. Cool.
And then we're all like, he's very. So anyway,
Yeah, that was a good line.
That's our boss.
He won't come back after that. What did you need to say?
Well, I wanted to give you all of the information that I could about the Amber Shards if you intend to get in their face.
we're gonna get in their
Sounds
face.
like we intend to do that.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us what you know?
Their manor is a converted mausoleum.
Creepy.
That's awesome.
It,
We'll know where to bury them.
Oh,
You can't take this one.
dude, you're ripping me the fuck off now.
Yeah, that's...
Sorry.
I screwed up all the mausoleum
Whatever,
lines.
Binwin Menacea.
My father stopped drinking.
Oh.
What? What is that?
Binwin Buckley. You can cut that out.
Wow.
all right, you guys. You guys are led through 3 sets of stone doors into Marcinda's secret, what she calls her war room.
Ooh.
And she breaks out a bunch of what appear to be scrolls, but then you realize that they are maps, and she says, I acquired these from the Cartographers Guild for just such an eventuality, and I have received information from a number of the resident ghosts who have managed, using their insubstantiality, to glean the interior of the Ambershard Manor structure.
It's handy.
Madam Goldsberry, you seem...
You're not here. You left.
Oh, that's right. Oh, it's still in the room?
No,
Okay.
we got
No, you got him back.
Okay, oh, come back in. Well, it was a pretty cool line, though. Madam Goldsberry...
Do you want to go back inside? No, I'm good.
Yeah, I see. You seem incredibly well prepared for an eventuality like this.
She says, yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm glad you shared my distaste for the amber shards.
Of course, cannot authorize any
Oh,
assaults
no, of
on
course
amber
not.
shard men.
But I hope that you can authorize a payment from the Merchant Guild's considerable stores.
She says, this is a great threat, I think we agree, and anything that you find is yours.
I just want to, as an aside with Oman, Jim pulls you over and says, I'm sure these amber shard people are bad, but is there some sort of law enforcement we should talk to before we start a raid in their town? I'm just saying, I would not survive in jail. I cannot do time. Jim cannot do time.
Not with a butt like that.
Whoa!
Hey,
I know she saw it. Right back at you, sweetheart.
So you're worried about prison? You're worried
What I'm saying is
about dwarven prison?
Focus on success.
But should we keep how much of the download?
That's interesting. You're an interesting lady.
I've heard of Dwarven Pound Me in the Ass Prison, and it's not.
I would Omen and turn him from the rest of the group seriously. I cannot go to jail.
It's just a marble.
No
column.
jail can hold you, Jim Darkmagic. But a man can, and he will. So you don't want
It might be obvious to you, but I am interested in calling the threats to our merchants, and I will provide you with some-
Trust me, Jim. Don't worry. If we rid this place of the amber shards, we'll be considered heroes.
Why hasn't the natural law of the town rid them of
The amber shards have a great deal of influence.
I say, what happens if a house is destroyed in your town? Is there a system in place for that? I mean, is this Menzo Baraznan?
She says, it would do well for us to have an escape plan for you.
See? Jail. She's talking about jail.
Escaping to jail.
Let me tell you what I know, and then you can decide whether the risk is worth the reward.
Yes.
She says,
Sold.
the matron of House Ambershard is Citrine, a powerful dwarf wizard who desperately wants to be on the Council of Masters in Hammerfast. But she isn't. That is one thing she has not been able to achieve. Ambershard Manor, as I mentioned, is a converted mausoleum, a building without windows. The entrance is the main doors, and that is it. And the entrance is guarded
Don't like that either.
by Thazen Stormbellow,
I hate that.
Never heard of it.
a dwarf knight on the Ambershard payroll, and a former adventuring colleague of Citrine's dead husband, Duracus Ambershard.
Does this ring any bells for you, Bronzebottom?
No.
Thazen is extremely dangerous.
So far, risk versus reward does not sound worth it.
I haven't heard a reward.
I vote for no.
He killed a red dragon by himself.
I'd vote double no. Wow.
You fucked a red dragon in the ass.
He lives in a cabin. He lives in a cabin on the Ambershard property, inside the walls of the mountain,
No!
with his dire boar mount.
Jim,
What do you mean? His dire boar what? This is in character.
Jim wants to know if there's an Olive Garden in town. Because
You want to hit the OG?
I want to hit the OG, get some breadsticks, let's talk about this.
It is widely known that the doors to Ambershard Manor are sealed, and Thazen has been gifted. He alone has the power to open them.
Omen.
Killing him won't make it any easier to get inside.
Omen, I can see that you guys are considering not doing this.
Yes.
Now listen, I just want you to know how serious I am about this. I am willing to give up my cut of this adventure.
I didn't hear
except for
reward.
magic items.
Your cut of our death, I don't want it. That's the only...
At this point, we may die as a result of cuts.
Yeah.
So, many cuts. I want you to think about that.
It is widely known among the various clan leaders that the Ambershards truck with demons.
It's not getting better. Stop talking.
Whenever it suits them.
No. I don't want to hear anymore. We need to go
This
now.
is a test. This
Of
is
what? Of an emergency fucking broadcast
This
system.
is a test. We are either Acquisitions Incorporated, and we acquire anything that needs acquiring.
What are we acquiring?
We're requiring my family's honor back.
We acquire
much is that
physical
worth?
objects. That's another incorporation.
Trust me, Citrine Ambershard, she's been not only has she been robbing merchants, but who knows what other treasure she's got in there. She is
No
a
one
thief.
knows, apparently.
She has an
Bronzebottom, I stand with you.
She has an
I
artifact.
usually find you overly dramatic, but I'm
has
with
an
you this
And I
time.
usually find your
has an
stench
artifact.
overwhelming.
Whoa, she has
an artifact.
Is it a magical artifact?
Yes, it is. It's called the Invulnerable Coat of Arn.
We should go.
It's a coat.
It is believed to lie somewhere in Ambershard Manor. It used to be the property of Lord Duracus Ambershard. He
What
wore it
exactly
to
does
battle.
it do?
Which leash among my dad's.
She says, I am glad you asked. And she hands you a scroll containing, well, all the information that she knows on the coat. And, for your benefit, I present to you the Invulnerable Coat of Arn.
You want to read that, Will?
Oh shit, it's canon.
This gleaming chainmail belonged to a poor cleric of Cord who fought to free his village from its tyrannical baron. Imbued with the cleric's fighting spirit and holy strength, the invulnerable coat of Arn seeks to reclaim its ancient glory. It is a suit of +2 chainmail. You gain resist 5 acid, resist 5 fire, resist 5 lightning. You gain a +2 item bonus to saving throws. At will divine weapon, you can use Valiant Strike. Power, at will minor. Change one of the resistances granted by the armor to any of the following damage types: acid, cold, fire, force, lightning, necrotic. Remember how unpleasant it is to take necrotic damage?
It's bad.
Psychic or radiant. That
I know about
resistance
taking fire
remains changed until you use the power at will to
Jim
change it
winks.
again.
Jimmy winks.
And, as another power, change the invulnerable coat into plate armor, scale armor, or chainmail.
Yes!
Not cloth?
For me!
Where my
Counter
cloth at?
power,
What?
you can spend a healing surge.
That sounds like my dad's old cloak of invulnerable... coat of invulnerable arms.
So it's
She stole
incredible.
that from us.
I mean, that's the
The
sort of thing you hear about in a
invulnerable
story.
coat thrives on danger, so it urges its wearer to take on increasingly difficult risks.
Yeah, it's too bad we don't have that on now.
The
Because
invulnerable coat's not happy unless the wearer is throwing itself into battle. Planning and strategy aren't high on the artifact's list of priorities. The invulnerable coat doesn't communicate with its wearer, but its emotional state does rub off, so the owner feels elated in battle and despairs at defeat.
Can we jump to the next podcast where I'm wearing this?
okay, so
That's some pretty bad.
that's the sort of thing Indiana Jones would go
Jim
get.
is willing to go after a magical artifact.
There is also the
That
treasure
power.
that these dwarves in the Ambershard employ have looted from my various merchants, which I would gladly bequeath to you to be rid of the menace. I should also point out, however, that Citrine Ambershard is involved in other sordid affairs in town. Convicted criminals are
Oh, I see. So her group is probably built up out of criminals. And
Not exactly. Convicted criminals are occasionally brought to Ambershard Manor as subjects of Citrine Ambershard's wizardly experiments. She has perfected a ritual that allows her to trap spirits in the lifeless bodies of constructs, a power she uses to turn worthless criminals into slaves,
at 209.
which she then sells to nobles and thanes.
And this is okay with your town? This is just the sort of thing that happens?
The authorities of Hammerfast believe it deals with a problem.
Well, let's get our magic
Let's
shirt
start by getting the coat
and get the fuck out.
and get out of town.
There is one other thing.
Oh.
The authorities in Hammerfast recently apprehended a dwarf criminal named Varkus Tenin, but not before he killed several guards. And what you need to know about Varkus is that 6 years ago he was convicted for murdering the master of the Stonemasons Guild. Unfortunately, this person also had familial ties to Thane Zarbold. Zarbold, the Invincible, consigned Varkus to hard labor in mines, but he escaped. Rather than having him decapitated this time around, Zarbold was grudgingly persuaded to turn him over to the Ambershards.
Oh no, now he's bound into some horrible... Now they have a murderer.
This has caused a great deal of consternation among myself and the other masters.
Yeah, I'm concerned.
who fear that Varkus might escape yet again.
Jim is checked out.
Varkus was brought to the Ambershard Manor the day before yesterday in chains.
No.
Citrine Ambershard is not home at present. She is off inspecting her mines somewhere abroad, but she's left her eldest son, Lear, behind.
I'll kill him.
Does she continue to affect the Elven accent throughout all of this?
Yes. That is all she
It's getting increasingly annoying.
Yes.
You begin
If
to
your
take
name is
ongoing damage.
Ambershard, if you are
Just so
employed by an
weird that a dwarf would try to
Ambershard,
pretend
or
to
if you
be
have
an
been turned by an Ambershard,
It's just weird. Like,
That's
it
lying.
doesn't make sense.
That's like, I'll pretend to be a dwarf would be cool.
No, that wouldn't be cool either. That would be
I wouldn't know.
That'd be the
I'm-
most cool. I'm
as a half-elf, I wouldn't know.
I'm so offended.
All right.
let's go.
Yeah,
Let's do this.